Asma,
Hi then.
welcome. Hi. How are you
Thank you.
doing today?
All is good. All is good. Excited.
Good, good, good. I've been trying to get you on a webinar or podcast for a while, and we agreed to do it, but then there's been, from both sides, we need to push back and delay. So we're finally having this conversation. So really happy to have you here and really interested to hear what you're going to say. I've noticed you on LinkedIn blowing up, may I say? And your content is absolutely, it's very refreshing because it's all about like what's actually happening in AI in procurement tech, like rather than the theoretical side. Like, you clearly know what you're talking about, and you have helped customers implement agentic AI and AI in general within procure tech, within supply chain. And you're getting out there, you're getting loads of hands-on experience with this. And I just wanted to invite you to have a conversation on this topic. And the topic is, and the title of the podcast, well, this podcast episode anyway, is AI in procurement, the no BS version. Because as I'm sure anybody listening will agree, there's a huge amount of hype out there, and it's really difficult to cut through that hype and just understand like what's really happening, what are people really doing, what's really working. So yeah, I know you're a little bit nervous. I hope you don't mind me sharing that with the audience.
Yes.
But we've had a couple of conversations previously, just briefly. We didn't get to go into the detail we'll go into today. And, it's clear, exactly what you're talking about. No, English obviously isn't your first language. I don't know how many people on the listening to the podcast speak two languages. I know you speak three. So as we said, no one is going to be judging you if you don't get the exact right English word. And what I think is really important for both of us is let's just keep the language super simple anyway, because this is already a really complicated, confusing topic. So anyway, let's make a start, shall we? I think, a good place would be if you could just give a brief introduction as to who you are and what you're offering, what you've kind of what your business is currently offering to the procurement market.
So first of all, thank you so much, Dan, for this beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. And I want to mention something else. This will be my first time for podcast, and it was because of you. I will never do it. um, um, I'm the founder and CEO of the Supply Chain AI Pro. I established it last year. It's only 1 year and a few months. Basically, when I started my journey, it was like I'm learning about procurement and AI because I come from architecture background, and it was so interesting. Like there's so much hype and theoretical talks about AI and procurement, but the link wasn't there to see hands-on and practical use cases wasn't there. So I said, this is my way to go. I will do it. I will try to figure it out. I was learning and I was sharing my learning and the practical use, the workflows and the tools. I was doing it. I was sharing it. And I started from there. And my goal right now is like to build the capability and upscaling the teams in both in supply chain and in procurement.
Brilliant. And I'm just for any, and I think
Yes.
people wonder often, even now, like, well, what's AI? What's agentic AI? What's classed as automation? What's the difference between a chatbot and a co-pilot, and etc.
Yeah. So main thing like most of the teams they are saying AI and they means three of them. Like they mean the co-pilot, the agent, the automation. Let me put it in a simple frame. When we talk about co-pilot, let's imagine you are driving a car. AI is your GPS. You prompt it, it answer, it give you the result, and you are the one who's driving. So this is a simple form for Copilot. For the agent, you give the destination, and the agent, how to say it, the agent he is the one who's driving and take simple, many steps and many tools and coming back with a result.
Mhm.
For automation, it's like the car driving itself in a fixed route, no human needed, and doing the same thing every day. This is the simple frame for the three of them.
Okay, brilliant. So you're putting them into three categories: co-pilot, agentic AI, and
Automation.
automation. Yeah. Okay. All right. So one of the things we briefly discussed as a topic earlier was misconceptions about agentic AI. So what are the most common misconceptions that you see or understand from the people that you're talking with, or what you see in the marketplace?
So I can frame it in three bullet points. First, people have this idea that AI will replace the teams. It's not. It will replace the repetitive tasks which have like heavy impact on the teams. And the second thing, it's set and forget. Like you can have the agent and forget about it. No, the agent need governance, guardrails, and monitoring and a human overview all the time. And the third thing, and I think this is the best misconception about agentic AI, it's a tool you buy. It's not. It's actually it's a capability you are building, and it's starting with understanding your own process deep enough to define what is this agent will do.
So can you tell us a little bit about that process around like how you define or teach the agent what to do?
So, first of all, you need to have access from your customer to 2 or 3 people who have the real work, and you need to have sample of data. You need to audit the data first. You need to listen to the people who's working on this data, identify what is the real problem, what is the bottlenecks they need to solve, and from whatever, like for example, for a spend analysis agent, for example, you need to have the knowledge. You feed inside this agent from so many things, the governance, the evaluation from these teams, what is stands for. So you need to have some of the procurement team with you to define what exactly they need from it, somebody who understand deeply enough what you need to get out from this agent.
So can you give me an example of like just a really cool agent or kind of an agentic workflow with more than one agent that you've helped clients with recently, or what you do in terms of like agentic workflows and bringing agents together and creating agents, training agents, etc.?
Okay, like we can start for one of the agent can be common between me and you. The RFX evaluation response. So you build the agent and you give the agent the knowledge about what criteria exactly you are like, which criteria exactly you want to compare to make like a scorecard. What criteria exactly you want to like score against. You embedded this in the agent knowledge, and you will have the agent will collect all the response from the like for all the emails, PDFs, whatever the response you have for the RFX. It evaluated and it come back to you with the highest RFX best score and which criteria was better in each score. So this is one of my favorite agents, and yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So we've got a slightly different approach to that. So our whole approach with anything to do with AI is very much human in the loop. So it's very much that the AI should do the admin to prepare the
Yes.
information for the human to then evaluate. So we don't get our AI or the agents to actually evaluate. But one of the things that we do, for example, is similar to what you're saying, bid comparison. So in a scenario where when suppliers either aren't tech savvy enough, or where it's a kind of category where it just requires like a PDF proposal as opposed to like somebody going in and answering questions and answering like providing prices in a price list or in a line item grid, that they can just dump in the documents and then the AI will pull them together and enable like side by side apples with apples comparisons, and will also normalize the, if it's a unit of measure or the size of the deliveries or whatever, it will normalize those. And then it will break it down into the different evaluation sections. But we wouldn't actually get the AI to do the evaluation because we would more leave that to the human. So are you saying that you're giving it enough context, the agent, so that it will do the scoring and then the human doesn't need to look at it? Or is it more like the AI is preparing what it thinks is the scoring and then the human checks it and then agrees or disagrees?
It's always you need to have human in the loop. This is always, especially when something related to money. There is somebody's career depend on it.
Yeah.
You need to have human in the loop, especially right now. AI is still evolving and there is a big chance of hallucinations. So every time you need for the final decision, you need to have a human in the loop. There is so many things you cannot just leave it for AI, because it's not still. I'm 100%. It's not mature enough.
Yeah. Can I just ask, whilst we're talking about this, do you enjoy working with AI? Because I've just been working on it a bit earlier with our AI analytics. And honestly, I feel like a kid playing on a PlayStation. Like, I just think it's so impressive. Like, say, for example, I was working on some analysis for just like a scenario with a customer, and just like asking the AI to analyze really complex, like a logistics RFX. I'm like, tell me this, tell me that. How are you coming up with this, by the way? Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, wow, that's amazing. And what are you I just want to check, what are you using to analyze this and to come up with this conclusion? And it's just telling me what it's doing, like it's a colleague. And then, I'm just saying, well, now can you just take it further? Can you take it further again? Can you take it? Can you show me graphs and charts? And it's just unbelievably powerful, and I just genuinely really enjoy working with it. How are you? Like, how do you find it?
I will frame it like this: it became my new friend, my new best friend. Seriously, like even after this is usually what I'm doing. Like after I prepare for presentation or something like meeting, I'm always like upload it in a notebook. And after because I'm someone who's enjoying audio more than reading and memorizing stuff, so I enjoy the audio. They built the audio overview, and it was like my playlist right now.
Yeah.
It's my work, but it's on my playlist, so it's more easy. It became like it giving me how to say, the space and the capability beyond. Like some of the books I can read it. It can take from me days to get the whole point of the book and the knowledge. But right now, especially with notebook LM, it's 20 minutes, the whole book. You have the whole idea and you listen to it. It's like an episode, for example. So it's my new best friend, as I said before.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Regarding just in general, whether it's in procure tech, like the procurement side or the supply chain side, or just in general, like, can you just give us an example of how customers actually achieve ROI? So, everybody is talking about the fact that senior management's saying, use AI. And then people are saying, like, how, why, what to do? I don't care. Just use AI. I'm getting pressure for us to use AI. So if somebody, like if one of our customers, for example, let's say a smaller mid-market company, because I know you tend to work with smaller companies,
Yes.
but like really small, like somebody right at the bottom of the mid-market kind of scale, if they were to get like, if their CEO said, I need to know that we're using AI meaningfully, with a clear ROI, and I need that doing within the next 4 to 6 weeks, how would you like recommend that they go about that? I mean, obviously it's going to be very specific to their needs, etc. But let's say they come to you, and they say, like, that's the situation. What guidance can you give us?
First of all, I need to define what is done with them and what is the rollouts. We need to agree that the hour reclaimed and the quality of the decision and what is not, you are leaving on the table without having it. This is the real ROI. So I will start first like auditing the work frames they have right now, and I will identify like 3 to 5 cases. It's like the high use cases for repetitive tasks, and this will be my target and will be the quick win. Like I will ask the team what what is the use case takes from you like so many hours. AI can do it in 30 seconds. So here where I need to begin, because like you need to start small with small things, make small quick wins first, then you move forward. But you need to have the how to say it, you need to have the evidence this is something work, how many hours have been reclaimed for your team. And second phase, it will be like in week 2 and 3 I will deploy structured AI workflows and prompt libraries against those repetitive tasks. After, like, I will train the team how to run these independently, and at the end of the week 4 I need to have like customized structured prompts and SOPs for the workflows. And at the end, also, you can say at week from 4 to 6, I can, after the use case is already implemented and everything is working, I need to move to the second wave and embedded some light automation using N8N or something similar.
Can you just explain what N8N is for anybody who doesn't know?
Okay, so it's like, how to say it? It's like if you have your email, for example, it will access your email, take the information from your email. The agent after this will use whatever tools need for using it and summarize your email or making a spreadsheet for you or a document for you. So it's like it's building the workflow behind. And at the end, my aim is to be unuseful and the teams don't need me anymore.
Mhm.
At this point of time, I will know that I have done my job. I learned the team how to fish with any tool they have.
Mhm. Brilliant.
And something else I forgot to say, main important, I need to deploy whatever AI tool they have in their ecosystem.
Mhm.
Like if they have a Microsoft Copilot, I need to teach them and train them how to use this tool exactly. If they are in Google ecosystem, I need to train them how to get the best use of Gemini.
Yeah. So essentially what you're saying is you can just walk into any kind of tech. So essentially what you're saying is you can just walk into any customer's kind of tech stack, and then based upon that tech stack,
Yes.
you'll be able to like create,
Customize.
well, like optimize like the LLM, the prompts, the agentic workflows, etc., to work with their existing solutions and what they have access to.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's essentially, are you saying that the main ROI that you offer is around kind of streamlining and automating? Is that the main area that you drive ROI, or can it be something else?
The main area is make your team capable
Hmm.
using any tool
Hmm.
at any time,
Hmm.
whatever tools they have, and you see which problem we have, and they can identify which tool can solve this problem and how we can use it. And at the end, as I told you, it's about hour have been reclaimed for your team and the quality of the decision making you have right now. Like, come on, in so many cases has been Marvic spent. It wasn't traceable because it's really hard to trace without AI.
Hmm.
For example, pre-negotiation, how many negotiation you missed it because you didn't prepare it well enough.
Yeah. It's not just the speed, and that's what I was getting at. It's
The
not just about the
quality.
speed, it's the quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And that's exactly what we're trying to do as well. And what we are doing is that we're collapsing that continuum that previously used to exist. It's either fast or it's compliant. And
Yeah.
and if you want it to be faster, it's going to be less compliant. If you want it to be more compliant, it's going to be slower. And I think the great opportunity we have now is that with AI, we're able to really like collapse that. It doesn't need to be a choice anymore, because you can do it super fast. Don't try and do it too fast though, because if you automate it completely, you're going to have problems. But just massively reduce the admin to be able to have all of the information that you need to be able to make excellent decisions.
Yeah. Actually, there is two things before thinking about AI. You need to make sure you have your infrastructure, your data is the quality of your data is good enough so you can implement the AI on it. Because if you have bad data, you will have a crisis later with AI. It will amplify the bad data. And this is one thing. And the second thing, always you need to have guardrails and governance, because so many teams right now, they are using shadow AI. It's like using AI without the company knows and outside. And even sometimes when you have the rules inside your organizations, when you're sending a contract or something, the other side, maybe they are making the shadowing. So you need to have like rules, rules and contract with them. Like this cannot be used outside the tires you have in your company, not outside as well,
Okay.
because this
Very.
can have leakage of the data and can cost millions.
What we're doing a DeepStream, because apart from anything, obviously I'd like anybody who's listening to understand what we do, but also just want to get your thoughts on it. And because what I'm really interested in understanding, and one of the main reasons we're having this conversation is that I'm really interested in understanding what the emergent value is of using like an approach, like where you implement a solution, like where a customer, I should say, implements a solution like ours, but then also gets your training. What would the emergent value be in that? But I know you don't know a huge amount about our solution, and some of the listeners may not either. So I just want to quickly share a screen just to have a visual aid here. Yeah, Asma. So I really wanted to, and one of the main reasons we're having this conversation is I really want to explore the emergent value of the two different approaches. So, like what you're doing and what you're teaching your clients to do and what we're doing in terms of, you know, what our system does and how it supports procurement teams. And I know you target smaller organizations, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I really just wanted to kind of, first of all, give you and any listeners who aren't sure of what we do a little bit more insight around that. And then we can talk more about like how you see what you do and what you upskill teams to do supporting this, and how that emergent value can grow. So if we can just go to the next slide. Yeah, so these are the main AI capabilities that we've deployed within DeepStream. So again, DeepStream is an e-sourcing solution, so all focused around the RFX process, but we do have supporting modules for kind of the source to contract whole process. But let's just focus on RFX. So essentially what we cover is AI requirements and scope definition. So the solution will go and find relevant SOWs, contracts, previous sourcing events, etc., and pull together a kind of starter for 10 regarding the requirements and scope for a particular category. So that's often like when the internal customer, or if it's a consultancy, an external customer says, we want to run a sourcing event for IT services, for example, and then they'll say, okay, tell me more or less what you want. And then they say, well, actually, I have no idea. And they say, well, I don't know what you want. So then it's like, where do we start? So this pulls together all of the information that you may need and then gives specific questions so that the procurement person can go to the internal customer and say, right, this is more or less what you're going to need. Give us this specific information. And then from there, we're able to actually create the RFX by just saying, right now, build the RFX, and then the AI will build the RFX. And that's really important because that's one of the key barriers we see in like the adoption of e-sourcing is getting the RFX into the actual platform. Because there's one thing having the documents and thinking, oh, I just want to send it via email because I'm in a hurry, but actually get it, just the documents, and the RFX will be built by the AI. And then there's AI supplier discovery. So quite simple, but very powerful in the sense of it just goes out to the market when you, as a user, say, this is the kind of supplier I'm looking for. This is the country. These are the accreditations. These are the key inclusion criteria. And also this is some exclusion criteria that we don't want this type of supplier, etc. And it will bring back a list of those suppliers. I've already mentioned RFX generation. Then we've got something that I'm super excited about called the Virtual Center of Excellence. So that is where the company, the customer company, they get to curate what best practices are and what the policies are, etc. And they just dump in the documents. So it could be general procurement kind of best practices, category specific best practices, category specific knowledge and information, etc. Even objectives of like what the key things are that you're looking to do in procurement, like always try and maximize supply chain resilience.
Yeah.
As number one objective, for example.
Okay.
And then when anyone goes to use the AI, they can just type in, build me an RFX for this category, and it will go into the Center of Excellence and use that to build the RFX. So it's kind of like hardwiring the governance and the control into the process. And then what's also really interesting is if they can't, if they don't have anything covering that particular category, or they don't have enough, then the AI will go into the next level up, which is the DeepStream Center of Excellence, and take whatever we have that's relevant in there. But again, it's always human in the loop. So the user will always review, tweak, take anything out they don't want to keep in there, add whatever they want to add, and then launch the sourcing event. And then we've got an AI supplier assistant. So this just helps break down the barrier from the supplier side. Often they are just, they're sick of using, I won't say which one, but there's a particularly bad supplier portal out there that has a very bad name, just due to the clunkiness and the issues and the support issues and etc. So a lot of the time suppliers say, I refuse to use any portals, especially if they're low tech savvy or if they're in particular industries where, digitalization just isn't that common. This is something that enables the suppliers to, without like really navigating the platform, they can just dump in their documents and the AI will extract the information and build it into the actual RFX response for them. And then that means that even when the supplier is providing just like a PDF price list, and a PDF proposal, it will pull all of that data out and do the side-by-side comparison for procurement. And then we've got AI rate card ingestion. So similar to just what I've mentioned there around like pricing information, but this is like more complex. So, for like IT services, etc. And in particular, like logistics. So as you'll know, like with logistics, it can be so complex. Thousands and thousands of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of line items. And there's no way that the supplier is going to go through and give you a price for each lane. They're going to provide you with a rate card. The AI will ingest the rate card and extract the information, put it into the line items for analysis. And then the last thing is AI analytics. So, and this is the thing I was mentioning earlier, where it's my version of playing something like PlayStation, because I just find it so interesting. You can just analyze any RFX, any information, whether it's the line items, whether it's the evaluation around like their quality or their cybersecurity or whatever it is. You can say, show me who the best supplier would be in this scenario. Show me the best three-way supplier award. Rate the suppliers in terms of cost, lead time, and quality. Just literally whatever you want. And then it will pull back some summaries, insights, tables, graphs, charts. And the final thing is that then customers can use those graphs and charts, choose which ones they want, put them in a decision pack, and then send it to the customer or the decision maker to be able to make the decision on the award. So that's in a nutshell. Nutshell was quite a long description, but that's what we're doing. So first of all, what are your thoughts on that? I know you know quite a bit about what different providers are doing in the marketplace.
Actually stand out for me the virtual center of excellence. I love this idea because it's like you are auditing two times. It's you have two layers of auditing. This is something really stand out for me. I didn't see this in another platforms, so it's I think this is outstanding to have it. Like, yeah,
I'm glad to hear that, because that's the thing that's before, when I was saying like cutting down, breaking that continuum of speed or governance or speed or compliance. It's just collapsing that. And a lot of the things on there that I've just mentioned, they're very much like the main thing you would take from it, although it is helping with governance. It's like just the main thing you take it from it is like the speed. You're thinking, my goodness, it's so crazy that I can do this quickly. It's so crazy that I can do that this quickly. Whereas that virtual center of excellence in particular is very much around like, yeah, the speed, but all of the best practices that we've decided as a company or as a function, every time you do something, they're going to be hardwired into the
yes,
process. Whereas
exactly.
I've seen many center of excellences in my time where, some have been really successful, but most, I think it's like, it's a nice idea and they've been able to come up with some great processes and policies, but then it's only as good as how well the team are using those best practices. Like, are they keeping on top of the updated best practices and so on and so forth? So rather than best practices just living in training and living in documents, it's actually hardwired into the process. But anyway, so so this is the bit that I'm really, really interested in though. So say in a scenario where we're working with a customer who has budget for our solution and also has budget for your support and your training. How would you see those two things working together so that, like a customer of ours, say, well, let's use that as an example. A customer of ours, I say to them, look, this is what Asma can do. This is what she's going to be able to help you with. But in terms of emergent extra value that you'll be able to use with our platform, this is what it is. What would you say to that?
So first of all, then I see like your approach and my approach. It's like to make the life for the procurement team and supply chain easier. The AI platforms, it have the structure, and you can have the it's fast, it's efficient. My approach, it will be like, if the customer comes to me, it will be building the capability and making the upscaling for the teams so they can use any tool they have. It's not necessarily only AI platform. Any tools they have, they can use it and they can have best of it, and which tools they can use for each case. This is something very important. And they can have, at the end, they can know like what is prompt engineering, how to prompt. If you don't know how to prompt, I cannot take it further. If you cannot define the rules, you cannot automate. So it's like my approach is making the infrastructure, the foundation for your teams to to scale up.
So you've mentioned earlier, like in a previous, earlier in this conversation or a previous conversation, you mentioned like supplier research. So doing like supplier research, supplier negotiation, preparation, etc. So like what I'm trying to get at is, could it be that a customer of ours would be able to, with your support, in addition to our solution, say, okay, so there's certain things that DeepStream doesn't do because it's out of scope for DeepStream, either before the process or after the process or on the side of the process. They would be able to. I'm asking, if you like, based on your training, would you see a way where you would help them build supporting agentic workflows to, as I say, support something before our system kicks in, after our system kicks in, alongside, to bolster the process? Like, what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. Well, let's take it from the beginning. You don't need to start with an agent or workflow. You can start with learning how to build GPT and ChatGPT, or scaling Claude or Gem and Gemini. You build this as a project, as a skill, or Gem or GPT. And if you know your process well enough, we will prompt it. And by prompt engineering, for sure, we will customize it and it will be for your company, so it will be so simple. It don't need to have, like, you don't need to start from the agents, from the workflows. No, you can use simple stuff to have the same results. And the gem or gpt will be in your system all the time. It depends, as well as I said, which ecosystem you are having, which tire you have, commercial tire you have in your company. So we will build using this. Whatever tools you have, I will build this and I will customize it to be only for your category, for your company.
Yeah. So that it has all of the right context, everything that it knows, all the rules, etc., to be able to just add real value to that particular organization. And
yeah, and something else I just want to highlight it as well. It's meaning like, for sure we are all aiming for money, but also we need to help the community. Like, whatever we are sharing for the simple prompt or workflows, for the small businesses, they cannot afford AI platforms with six figures. By simple tools, they can afford it, and we can they can have accessibility for something like this, and they can catch the wave. Yes.
And I know that's what you're really passionate about from previous conversation. Like, so you really do focus on the smaller organizations where you're saying, like, look,
but I will not mind if I have some customers from the mid market as well. But yes.
Yeah. No, I know. No, but what I'm saying is, you said to me previously, like, you're just concerned that the smaller organizations, they don't have the resource, they don't have the money, they're scared of like this gap of not catching the wave, as you say. And from what I understand, your training is very much focused on them, to be able to say, look, even if you don't have the money or you're not ready yet
Yes.
to deploy a system, even like ours, because ours is more mid market than like the really expensive enterprise solutions. But even at a fraction of the cost of our solution, that you are going to be able to give them the starting building blocks of really getting some
Yes.
value from AI. And it's starting with just potentially LLMs, but then it's also building agentic workflows, and then it can get more and more advanced as is needed.
Yeah, exactly. And let's
Mhm.
be fair. Some of these small companies as well, they don't know what is procurement department is. They don't have the procurement department at all. So
So is that typical for you as well, that you're even helping organizations that don't have? Because what I noticed on your LinkedIn, and what first got my attention, is that I noticed you, and straight away I was like, oh, I really like the messaging and I like what's coming from Asma. And then I was just super busy, and the next thing I knew, I looked again. I was like, "Whoa, Asma has got like, I don't even remember how many, but like so many likes, so many comments, that you just blowing up, and that what you're saying is really resonating with people, and just giving them like a different perspective and some key knowledge that they're struggling to find elsewhere in the marketplace."
first time we have the call, then I was having like 3,500 followers. Today I reached to 20,000.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And but what I've noticed is it's not just small businesses that are commenting and following you. Well, I don't know who's following you, but I know that the ones that I've seen, like nearly every time I see you pop up, I see that there's a huge number of comments, a huge number of likes and reactions.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, the comments are coming from VP of procurement of like a pretty big organization, or like I saw CPO the other day of a pretty big organization. So like that, so that's why I was just really interested to understand more about what you're doing, and understand more about how we fit together as like an e-sourcing solution for mid-market and lower enterprise, and like what you're doing to see like what that, as I say, what that emergent value is. Is it a case that it's either like you or us? And I'm not saying that it is, and I'm saying like that was my understanding. Like, is it either your way or our way, or is it?
Yes, I remember. It's you first time you're telling you are competitors or what?
Yeah, I was trying to understand, like, are you going to eat our business, or going to try and eat our business with your 20,000 followers? Um, and because I think I've got about a network of 3,500 people, and I've been in the industry for a very, very long time. So not jealous at all of your 20,000 followers. But anyway, yeah. So again, I just think you're a rising star in this space, and I just selfishly wanted to be involved in this conversation with you, because you've obviously, you've got a lot of interesting things to say. Like, I don't know how many books you've written. It's a lot, because I subscribed to a couple of the things that you do.
Really? You have the membership?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I got the membership. Maybe it was an earlier thing. I just remember that I did something a while back to download some of your content, and I was like, "Whoa, there's a lot! Like, you've got a lot of content." Um, you mentioned, just before we wrap up, you mentioned that you've got a new course coming up, like a 2-day executive course. Do you want to quickly tell us a little bit about that?
For executives, it will be with St. Louis University in US. Honored to I will teach module 3 and co-teach module 8. It will be about the hands-on and practical use cases for using AI in supply chain. So the practical part in module 8, I
Hmm.
will teach I will put we will put the roadmap together. So the executive will get out and they will have 90 days roadmap to deploy, and they will have clear vision what they need to do.
Awesome. Brilliant. Okay. So if people want to find out more about you, Asma, and what you offer, what's your website address? I mean, we'll put it in the notes as well, so there's a link in there.
They can find me on Asma Gad on LinkedIn, or my website is supplychainaipro.com. They can have access to there's free resources, and there's the membership area and the courses area as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I highly recommend anybody who hasn't checked that out, they definitely should. It's an absolute it's a huge center of knowledge. Like, I couldn't believe how much content you had, and like, it wasn't just like light content, it was deep, detailed content. So I definitely recommend anybody who's interested to they should check that out. Yeah, so anybody who's interested in finding out more about DeepStream, please come to our website. There's multiple like snippets of videos on there, where you can see the platform in action, or reach out to me or to one of the team. Okay, well, Asma, thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you've been nervous about it, but I think you did an absolutely great job. And I'm absolutely honored to have been the first person to have interview you, and hopefully we can do one another time in the future, when things have progressed. I mean, goodness knows what's going to happen to AI in the next 6 months at the rate it's going now. So yeah, love to do it again sometime.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and you to push me for something like this. This will be like how to say it. I will never forget this podcast in my whole life.